Okay, let's make a start then. Namaste everyone and welcome to this first full moon of the year 2022. It's been a pleasure and a great start to this wonderful year, I'm sure. 2021 was a very different and amazing year in many ways. So we hope that this year also is even better, actually, not just the same, but even better for our growth on all levels. Okay, so before we start, let us ask for divine blessings to the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to Lord Mahaguruji Meling, to Master Chua Kok Sui, to all the great ones, all the holy gurus, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, healing ministers, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We thank you for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for the blessings of divine love and mercy. Thank you for the blessings of prosperity and abundance and spirituality. Thank you for the blessings of physical healing and inner healing. Thank you for healing our mind, our emotions, and our physical etheric bodies. May our mind be developed. May we have purity of motive and clarity of mind on all areas concerning our life. Thank you for blessing us with wisdom to use all the resources properly that we have. Thank you for blessing us with inner light, inner joy, inner peace and happiness. And also thank you for blessing us with a kind and generous heart, an intelligent mind, and a powerful will that we may serve others. With thanks and in full faith, thank you. All right, so tonight's topic, before we get into the meditation, is the three monks. You must have seen the image that we shared earlier, and it is a very known image in India. Of course, we know this as Gandhiji's monkeys, right? The three monkeys. What are these monkeys? The first one is perhaps, see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. Of course, it is popular as that in India, but at the same time, it's actually much more esoteric and deeper. And a couple of weeks ago, I was visiting a temple with a couple of friends, and I noticed they were selling these small statues outside. What we shared with you in this image, those three baby Buddhas kind of thing, or baby monks rather. And then the mind triggered, okay, what is the inner meaning of this? I've been studying to a certain degree this topic, and thought, okay, let's elaborate and share our understanding of it. Not that we know everything about it, but let's try to dig deeper and see what is the real meaning behind these so-called monkeys or the monks. What are they trying to tell us? And while I was reflecting, of course, in between working as well, tried to put together some content. Let's see how it goes. I hope it is useful for you to take back and reflect, of course, because that's the first thing. In fact, that's the first teaching in itself. being able to reflect on what we learn, because that's the way to grow spiritually. Because when we talk about hear no evil, it is, of course, traditionally it has been explained in a certain way, but according to what we understand, the teachings have been partially distorted. What is this evil? What is this hearing about? So in this context, and I think all of you are pranic healers, the first thing we were taught in pranic healing is, when the first thing, what is it? You're not supposed to believe blindly anything, no matter who tells you, no matter the person, who this person is, of what authority. Even Lord Buddha said, that do not believe just because I am saying so. Believe only when you have really understood something. So this understanding, this jnana, and again, I'm using this phrase because a few days ago we were discussing with some of our students about how to develop this how to work on this jnana yoga. So this jnana yoga is the understanding and the reflection and the knowledge and information. Reflection is the way of developing that. So when we say hear no evil, just to begin with, that is you have to understand that you just cannot rely on what other people tell you blindly. Evil does not necessarily mean that you close your ears and whatever people are talking about, you don't give a damn to it or something like that. But it is more also to internalize yourself, so that, okay, the information which is coming, what does it mean? How can I discern it? How can we build on it further? Because from our childhood, we have been kind of brainwashed, right? We have been growing up with what everybody else tells us to do. This is right, this is wrong, do this, don't do that, and many other things. We have been practically brainwashed. But in spiritual discipleship, you need to develop your own conclusions. Okay. Now, we have been learning about various virtues, isn't it? In the basic pranic healing, we talk about the loving kindness, non-injury, generosity, non-stealing, honesty and non-lying, and so on. And then as you go along, you learn about more virtues and the deeper meaning of it. But then you may have also noticed that when you learned it for the first time, your understanding is at some level. And as you keep reflecting on it, or as you keep refining and working on it for your own self, maybe a few months later or a few years later, you understand something much more deeply about the same thing, about the same virtue, which means your conclusion earlier about something, about the virtue in this case, is different from what it is today, right? What it was and what it is today. So according to the realization, and I'm using this word carefully because it is not just you hear something and you believe it. Of course, temporarily you can make it as your temporary truth, but according to the realization of your higher virtues, you need to then make conclusions and exhibit that virtue. And it can only happen when you develop your mind, your thinking mind, your abstract mind, which is the Agnya Chakra. Because whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not, most of the people are still oriented or centered towards their solar plexus. Solar plexus is the center of masses. This is where the mass consciousness comes from. You must have heard the phrase, the herd instinct, right? So that the solar plexus chakra, oh, somebody is doing this, let me do that. Oh, you believe so? Okay, let me also believe so. Oh, you are jumping in a well, okay, let me also jump in a well. I mean, you don't use mind, right? When I say you, of course, I'm just talking of in general, people don't use their mind. But then the only hope for humanity as such is to start developing the mind. Because as maybe you may have heard this teaching also, that what you think, repeatedly, it becomes your action. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. So it starts in the mind and the higher mind. One of the things which is happening today as part of large humanity is also, while it is required and it is part of development, and it is being also to a certain degree forced. That's why you are seeing so many technological advances and innovations and inventions these days. By the way, this is the manifestation of the throat chakra and the Agnya chakra. But then again, those who have studied the next levels of pranic healing, like psychotherapy or something, that these two are the thinking chakras, right? This is the higher thinking. This is in that sense of a low concrete thinking. This is abstract thinking. People are still here. While it is required and it is being developed, and it will be developed more, but the energy also has to simultaneously move up, especially for the people who are on the spiritual path. Otherwise, because the solar plexus, which is already very big for most people, if this and this are not developed, guess what happens? Have you heard the phrase called Kama Manasik? Some of you who have been studying with us, I've probably used this phrase many times. Kama Manasik. Kama means desire. Manasik, mind, the desire mind, which means, have you noticed that sometimes when you like something, let's say you eat a food for the first time and you really like the taste, and it gives you the pleasure, then your astral body gets stirred up. By the way, again, those who have not studied yet, along with the physical body, etheric body, we have another layer called the astral body or the emotional body. So when we eat that food, it gives pleasure to the astral body. It gets stirred up, and then it craves for it. Okay, I need pleasure, more pleasure. Then it starts to use the mind to plot the creativity to get that thing again and again. And hence, in the process, at times, it becomes, so to speak, enslaved by the desire. That is what is meant by Kama Manasik. Of course, the goal is to be able to use the mind to regulate the emotions. You understand? So while this is required, but from here, the energy has to move to the Agnya chakra. That is when we can actually manifest the simple teaching of hearing no evil. Not from the lower perspective, but it has to move to a higher perspective. Hearing is not just hearing here, and okay, you're believing something, so you really have to develop. And also you have to understand that as we grow along in our path, the discernment from something very simple as what is good, what is bad, it becomes much more complex. Sometimes you have to think what is good for one versus good of many. Selfishness versus group consciousness. What is something that will give benefit to a smaller group or people or to oneself versus something which is of a larger interest? Okay, that is also something that we need to. So as we grow along in our spiritual practices, this is a natural evolution, so to speak. It moves up from very simple things to more complex questions that are faced by the people who are on the spiritual path. In fact, whenever we talk about our development, we think of ourselves as an individual, but what we don't know and we don't realize is that we are not just individuals as a disciple. Humanity as a whole is a spiritual disciple. So as in the beginning, of course, the consciousness is still about oneself, but later it moves to much larger consciousness. And if you think about it, from Twin Hearts perspective, from your heart, you move to the crown, the compassion, the all-encompassing love. So I'm just trying to give you some hints here and there. You may have to process a lot of this information. I'm going a little fast, but just try to keep the pace. Larger consciousness, right? In the beginning, when you think of the so-called good and bad, you would think only from perspective, perhaps, okay, what is good for me, what is not good for me, and as long as it is good for me, it is okay. But then what we also don't realize is that as we grow, and probably some of you may have experienced this, at times you have the tendency to be selfless, right? The more you develop your crown, by the way, crown center is also the seat of sacrifice. Now that's very interesting. We all talk about the compassion and stuff, but what is usually not talked about is that this is also a center of sacrifice, the seat of sacrifice. Just to give you an idea, and when I heard this, it was mind-blowing for me to understand, but you must have heard of Lord Christ was crucified, right? Do you know where was he crucified? The name of the hill is Golgotha, or something like that, Golgotha or Golgotha, something like that. Skull-shaped hill. And that's very interesting. It's actually the place of skull. Obviously, not the physical skull per se. He was not obviously crucified on somebody's head, but essentially crucified at the skull simply just means that his crown chakra was so highly activated. And that is why it is said that he gave his life for the sacrifice of the humanity, right? He took the sin of all humanity and gave his life. So Golgotha actually means, and that's a mystery in many, in the whole of mystery schools and the Christian schools, they've not really understood the true meaning, the inner meaning of Golgotha. It is about the sacrifice. So as we develop, these qualities are automatically developed. And again, qualitative and quantitative. Okay. So anyway, that is about hear no evil. But usually the first one which comes to mind when you look at these three monkeys is the first one, right? Here, see no evil. Now, this is a very, probably we should have started there, but anyway, let's talk about it. Seeing no evil does not necessarily mean that, or does not mean that you deny the existence of wrong. But to realize that, you should be able to look beyond this, beyond what is obvious. There is good beyond the not so good. The humanity, as we know, lives in duality, right? We always have the so-called day and night, isn't it? We talk about forgiveness, but we also talk about hurt. Without the hurt, there is no forgiveness, isn't it? Without being personal, you cannot understand what is being impersonal. There is no challenging. If you're not personal at some time for something or for someone and share love, you cannot understand impersonality. So we always live in this duality. But then the idea here is, first of all, when we close our eyes, it is about seeing that beyond the personal good, again, the same thing. You look at larger questions which face the mankind or to us. Good about that individual versus good about or good of many. Benefit of few versus benefit of many. Selfishness versus group consciousness. Between slower growth versus rapid spiritual growth. You need to decide. It is also, you have to interpret this also in the way that when you look at people, talking about personality and impersonality here, and most of you have been doing 2 hours meditation and you talk about love and compassion, and But you know what? Love is actually not related to sentimentality. It is not about the sentiment. It is much more beyond that. It is when you look at people, don't, again, the meaning of this is, when you close your eyes, is essentially trying to tell you that don't look at people just with your eyes, or use your inner eye or vision, so-called inner eye or vision, to see people with their flaws, with their limitations, with their wherever they are or whatever they are, and yet love them. And yet love them impersonally. When you experience love towards someone, that personal love, can you extend this love to much larger, without judging what is right, what is wrong, you are right, I am not black or white, or tall or short. That is the impersonality we are talking about. So again, by closing the eyes, it just simply means that you don't just see people with your eyes and decide, hey, right, wrong, good, bad, whatever. Accept people as they are, and let them grow at their own pace. That is one more meaning of closing the eyes as such. Okay. With your faults, I'm just reading a few lines from a book here, just to see if I've, just to give you an idea. Again, this is, by the way, I know nothing, by the way, right? I mean, this is just what I've studied and been reflecting upon. So we are just trying to make sure that we give you the teaching as clearly as we can. Impersonality is based upon a fundamental personality achievement. You must have been tremendously attached before you can know the meaning of impersonality. That is a paradox, but there is no achievement in being impersonal if there is no temptation to be personal. Okay. The impersonality we must develop is an expansion of the personal love we have for an individual, our family, our circle of friends, into exactly the same attitude for humanity, but it has nothing to do with sentimentality. We can love all mankind because we know the meaning of personal love, and we must give the same love to everybody that we have given to the individuals close to us. Fast forward a few lines. We are able to see people as they truly are, with their faults, their failings, their achievements, and everything that goes to make them what they are, and seeing them clear-eyed to love them just the same. That is one more meaning of seeing no evil. You're not only focusing on somebody's negative aspect, but giving the person time to grow. Are you perfect? I'm sure. I mean, I'm not, at least. When you're not perfect, you make mistakes. Do you expect people to give you time to change and improve? Guess what? Everybody else needs the same. So that is another meaning. According to one master or one teacher, when you look outside, there is darkness. But when you see inside, there is light. What is the meaning of this? We live in a world of glamour, right? When I say glamour, glamour is nothing but a powerful thought form that clouds the perception of reality. There are many glamours, glamour of materiality, glamour of separativeness, glamour of pride, and many other things. But what we have to understand is that this glamour and the glamours that we live in or live with can only and only be overcome by the use of clear mind. And the mind can only be clear when the light of the soul can shine on the mind. there is a misconception about this teaching, because many people believe that just by developing the soul, or the so-called, bringing more soul energy into the system, they can win the emotions. That is not the case. You have to understand that between that and the emotions, there is mind, a layer. The light of the soul has to shine on the mind. The mind has to become like mirror, clear, clean mind. Then with the thought of, or with the use of clear mind, you are able to win your emotions. You understand? Now, that is why when, of course, you can obviously increase this light within you when you go inside. Because, when there is a crisis, in your life, have you noticed that, we all do that? I mean, we all look outside. Okay, this is wrong, that is wrong, he did this, she did this, that circumstance, this circumstance. But what we don't realize is, again, by closing the eyes, it directs us back to look within. One of the things about spiritual path is, or the people who are on the spiritual path is, you will be pushed back again and again and again towards yourself. The mirror that we show to the world, hey, look at your flaws. I was, long time back, I was reading a story about the lessons from a mirror. There was a guru who had a fantastic mirror, and the mirror could actually show, all the vices in anybody. And he gave it to a disciple to go and take it. So this guy, oh, wow, very nice, very beautiful mirror. Let me take this. And he started showing this mirror to everybody. Oh, you have this fault, that fault, you are bad, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And he came back and was very sad and depressed. Hey, everybody has faults. He came back to the teacher. Teacher said, okay, that is interesting. But I gave the mirror to look like this. You did not do that. You did not do that. One of the things we have to understand is what is happening outside, in the outside world, is largely a reflection of what is inside of us. When you want to understand the problem of the world, the problems of the world, you have to look within. Anything and everything can be found inside of you. When you look at that there is a conflict happening somewhere in the world, you have to realize that, again, the mirror, do I have conflicts within me? Again, conflict could simply mean as simple as choosing what dress to wear today for my office. Conflict, albeit in a very qualitative and quantitative manner, very, very small energy in compared to what we're talking about. But you have to understand this, that you are not the only one who is thinking like this. There are millions of people like that. We don't look inside, we expect the world to change. In pranic healing, what have you been taught? What manifests in the energy world manifests physically. What is manifesting outside today has been manifested in the inner world for a long time. The things that we see today have been manifested in the inner world. Unless you change the inner world, you cannot change the outer world. So unless you start taking steps to change yourself, you cannot really change. That's why Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. See no evil. Okay? Examine your motives. Am I attached to money excessively? Am I attached to clothing? Food? Sex? Luxuries? There's nothing wrong with being attached. What is wrong is to be entangled by that desire. There's nothing wrong to have a desire. Not all desires are bad. And that is again a misconception, by the way. It is said that desire is the root of evil or suffering rather. It is not true. For example, do you have the desire to earn money to feed your family? Is that a good desire? To have a good career so that you can have a comfortable life. That is a good desire. You want to earn money so that your children can have the best education possible. That is a wholesome desire. You have the desire to help people in need. That is also a desire, a very, very wholesome desire. All desires are not, no desire in itself is bad. The problem is the unwholesome entanglement, the attachment is the problem. Attaching is not a problem. Not being able to detach is the problem. One wise teacher was giving an example of, let's say I have a desire, I want to drink this water. I attach. When my need is met, I detach. But what sometimes we do is, because again we talked about the astral body and the pleasures and stuff, we get attached to it. Oh, I like more, I need more. If I'm not able to let go, detach, that is when it becomes the suffering, the cause of suffering. So again, you have to reflect in your own motives. Do I have any excessive behavior with respect to anything? When you do that, you start to change your thought process, because again, you have to understand that we have to move from the excessive attachments and selfishness to a larger consciousness. In fact, all of you must have been doing, or most of you have heard this phrase in the Great Invocation. What is that phrase? May it seal the door where evil dwells. This evil is something in the past that happened. The evil, for it to come forward in the present, there is a door which can either prevent it or allow it. Problem is, whether we like it or not, the door has been left open. And it is the responsibility of the so-called spiritual people, spiritual disciples, to really close this door. It is not the job of the masters to close the door. So the hope is with the humanity. That's why it says, from the center, which we call the race of men, the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, isn't it? So it is us that who need to. The problem is we are sometimes lazy. We don't do our duty, our dharma, so-called, and hence the door remains a bit open. The energy can still pass through. You have to understand that in the ancient times, long back, the so-called masters were living with humanity. You know why? Because at that time, the humanity was still like a child. When you have your own children, your small children, you have to hold their hands, their fingers, so that they can learn to walk. But once they have become older, or 10 years, 12 years older, do you still hold their hands? No. You let go of the hand, let them walk and navigate through life. The humanity as a whole is in that stage of evolution, in that sense of it. And whether we like it or not, this is one of the most difficult phases of our own development. We are learning to walk. And whether we like it or not, the holy masters, the so-called masters, will not interfere. We may fall, we may bruise our knees, we may bruise our hands, bleed, but we have to get up. It is we who need to close the door of evil. That is another meaning of, just not seeing. It is not just, oh, I will not see anything and I will not do anything about it. It is about, okay, bring the light, clear mind, clear thinking, discernment, take the right action. That is, in short, seeing no evil. Lastly, I'll try to be a little faster. See, it's already about 35 minutes. The third one is speak no evil. Of course, one is the speech part of it. We all know that. That's pretty straightforward. But is that the only meaning? Perhaps not. We have to be aware that what kind of thought forms are we projecting to other people? What kind of thought forms we are projecting to other people? Many a times, have you not noticed that, you want to say something to someone, you don't really say. You keep thinking over it over and over and over and over. And many a times, these are not very wholesome thoughts. Yes or no? So when we say that speak no evil, it is not just about the verbal speech. By the way, you have to also be aware that what you plant verbally is what you're going to harvest physically in future. So make sure you are planting the right seeds. If you think about it, your present condition is the output of your past. Your future will be obviously based on your present. Plant good seeds with words, with even thoughts. Another thing about, again, I think this is probably more understood, but let us put it in context. We talk about one of the biggest evils is so-called the gossip. And those who have done, again, if you recollect in the session of our power of thoughts, we elaborately talked about it. This is the biggest or the worst kind of thing somebody can do towards someone, gossiping about someone. Whether we know it or not, we may be injuring the other person, whether the person has that negative quality or not. But if you keep gloating about it and tell 20 others, guess what you're doing? That poor guy may not be even aware that you are heaping on this thing, and the guy becomes worse, and you say, hey, how come you're becoming worse? Who caused him to become worse? Again, what plant are you sowing? What seeds are you sowing? Be careful of that. So the antidote, according to Master, of gossip is silence. Silence. If you have a tendency to think or gossip about someone in a negative way, of course, take a moment to reflect of their goodness. Nobody is perfectly good. Nobody is perfectly bad, right? Within the yin is yang. Within the yang is yin. So always, anybody, the worst person that you can come across also has some good qualities. So always start with that if you can. Reflect on your good qualities, bless them with what they need rather than gossiping and thinking negatively. That is another meaning of speak no evil. That you not only speak no evil, you take one step ahead and you project the thoughts and the blessings and the energy that the person may bloom, can really improve. That is the next level, because discernment, as we understand, is not just about understanding something or understanding the truth, but also being able to discern what to speak, when to speak, whom to speak, and how to speak. That it is not harmful. Because if you recollect, one of the most important requirements on the spiritual path is that your tongue must become harmless, incapable of hurting anybody, injuring anybody. That is speak no evil. Not just this, with the thoughts. This is obvious. This is not. Because I'm just again going to read one of the quotes of Master from our eternal calendar. It happened to be in front of me today. Be careful with what you think and what you say, even without malicious intent. Listen carefully, even without malicious intent. Thinking and saying something negative about others will make it difficult for them to develop. Sometimes out of your, you don't probably mean bad towards someone, towards your child or your parent or your spouse or whatever. Your intent may not be negative, but then if you're thinking and constantly negative about them, it will become difficult for them to develop because you're energizing that. So that is another thing that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so, well, we can't obviously cover everything about the whole, it's much deeper. maybe just one final thought. Have you heard of something called Pratyahara? It's a spiritual practice. It's, of course, given in the yoga practices. Essentially, they try to close their senses, especially the eyes, the ears, and the nose and the mouth. Of course, I'll not close my mouth for now, but they sit like this. Okay, they close everything, and then they are asked to internalize and meditate and stuff like that, something like this. So if you think about it, in a single posture, of course, we are talking about it has been there. It just simply means that by closing all your senses, the sense organs, you're essentially going inside of you and only being aware of the inner light. One of the simplest methods, if you like to know, if you like to practice, is would you like to learn a simple technique? So just put your hands on your heart in the Namaste Mudra. Okay, just very simply. Be aware of your heart chakra. Be aware of the root of your heart chakra. Go deep. And keep your awareness at the core of your heart. And stay there. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Breathe normally. Deep inside the heart is the seat of the soul. One of the anchor points. Be still. Be aware. Of the peace. Be aware that your chaotic emotions have settled down. Be aware that your thoughts have become still. Be aware of a flame in your heart. This is the flame of peace. Flame of love. Visualize that this flame is moving up and going to your crown. Inhale, take the flame up, 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 up into the crown. Once again, inhale and take this flame from your heart into your crown. One more time. Inhale into the crown and stay there. Be aware that this flame is about 12 inches above your head. It is expanding, becoming brighter. A beautiful golden flame, turning into small, beautiful lotus. Flame is expanding. And you are filled with love and peace. Be aware that the energy of this flame is radiating throughout your aura. It is expanding, pulsating, completely engulfing you. You are inside this flame. The whole of your being is inside this flame. It's a flame of peace and love. Gently, slowly come back. Come back to your body awareness. Come back. Move your hands. Open your palms in the blessing posture. Be aware of your Agnya Chakra. Visualize Mother Earth in front of you. Silently or verbally, repeat after me the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of every person, every being. Let light descend on earth. Oh. Be aware of your forehead. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of every person, every being. Let love descend on earth. May Christ return to earth. Oh. Be aware of your crown. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend on earth. Oh. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, Agnya, love, forehead, and power, crown, descend on earth. Let light, love, and power restore the divine plan on earth. So be it, so be it, so be it. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of every person, every being. Let light descend on earth. Oh. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of every person, every being. Let love descend on earth. May Christ return to earth. Oh. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve, let goodwill and the willingness to do good descend on earth. The will to sacrifice, the will to serve. Oh. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power descend on earth. Let light, love, and power manifest, restore the divine plan on earth. So be it. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of every person, every being. Let light descend on earth. Be aware that the light is spreading to the minds of every person, every being. Your mind is illumined. You are filled with wisdom. Oh. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of every person, every being. Let love descend on earth. Be aware of the energy of love going into the heart chakras of every person, every being. May Christ return to earth. Oh. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend on earth. Be aware of the energy of goodwill coming down, the will to serve, the will to sacrifice. Oh. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power descend on earth, manifest the divine plan on earth. So be it. So be it. So be it. We'll chant Om 3 times, starting from the crown. Om. Forehead. Om. Agnya. Om. May the power of one life pour through the group of all true servers. May the love of one soul characterize the lives of all those who seek to aid the great ones. May we fulfill our part through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech. So be it. So be it. So be it. May the whole of Mother Earth be blessed. May every person, every being be blessed. without exception, with compassionate, purifying light and soothing, healing energies. May all the sentient beings in the higher worlds, the middle worlds, lower worlds, in all dimensions, in all directions, be blessed, be soothed of their pain, sorrow, and suffering. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. May every person, every being be blessed, be healed. May entire earth be blessed. May all the countries, all the continents be blessed. May all the grasses, the trees, the plants, the shrubs, may the entire plant kingdom be blessed. May all the mineral kingdom be blessed. May all the animal kingdom be blessed. May the entire human kingdom be blessed. May the angelic kingdom be blessed. So be it. May all our sources of food and water be blessed. So be it. May the resources of Mother Earth be distributed properly. So be it. May the balance be restored. So be it. May all those people who need healing be blessed with physical healing and inner healing. May they be blessed with hope and with faith, with an inner knowing that there is a better tomorrow. So be it. May all the leaders of the world be blessed with wisdom, with discernment, with loving kindness, compassion. So be it. With honesty and integrity. So be it. May the energies of peace and love be deeply anchored throughout Mother Earth. So be it. May all our land be blessed. May your home be blessed. May our homes be blessed. Be filled with the energy of peace, love, forgiveness, calmness, understanding, harmony, peace. So be it. May all the family members be blessed. The parents, the siblings, their spouses, their children, your spouse, your children. May all of them be blessed. So be it. Bless your friends, your associates, your colleagues. Bless the people that you work with. May all of them be blessed. So be it. Bless your organization, your projects. May they be blessed with great success, peace, and harmony and progress. So be it. Bless your career with great, great success and peace. So be it. May all of you be blessed. May all your needs be met for the rest of your lifetimes. In the name of Supreme God, in the name of Lord Maha Guruji Meling, in the name of Master Choa Kok Sui and all the higher beings, so be it. May all your wishes be blessed. May they be materialized fully, properly, and rapidly, right now, now, now. So be it. May all of you be blessed on all levels. May you be blessed with inner strength and courage, with purity of motive and clarity of mind in everything that you do. May you be blessed with the inner light, inner joy, peace, and happiness. May you find your light. And may your light become brighter, that it may dispel the darkness of people around you. May you be blessed with the will to serve, to sacrifice, to love unconditionally. So be it. So be it, and so it is. Om. Amen. Amen. Tathastu, and so it is. Cut, cut, cut. To the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to Lord Maha Guruji Meling, to Master Choa Kok Sui, to all the great ones, all the holy gurus, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, healing ministers, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We thank you for your priceless blessings. Thank you. In full faith, we thank you. You may gently open your eyes with a big, big smile. Okay. Wonderful meditation tonight. I hope I'm still audible, by the way. I guess so.